I went into the Airbnb, honey, I'm home. And the two girls were on the couch like, oh, hello. It was like,
He
nice.
came over to the couch and he was like, "Hi, I'm Gab." And she was like, "Hi, I'm so and so." And then they just started kissing and kissing and kissing and making out.
To be honest, it was a little overwhelming.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Allie here. And in today's video, I am going to tell you guys about Gab's first threesome. It's a story worth telling, and I think we're due now for his first time. I've told you guys about all my first time threesome experience, which happened 5 years ago now, I think, in Hawaii. You can check out that video if you want, and it was an incredible experience with a beautiful couple from Belgium, and I wouldn't change a thing. Today, we're not talking about me, we're talking about Gab, and I'm proud to say that his first threesome was with me and another girl, of course. I orchestrated it. And it's a story worth telling. Now, I'm not gonna spill all the beans on here, all right? I'm going to tell you guys a little bit how it went down on YouTube, but if you want the full story, not just my full story, but Gab's full story as well, because I realized that a lot of the stories I share on YouTube are always from my perspective, and I thought that it would be interesting to share with you all his perspective of what went down and to hear his side of the story. I will be posting both of those versions, mine and his, on Patreon. You can check it out by clicking on the link below this description. The Patreon serves as an intimate hub where we share some more details about the stories that we share with you guys online. We have more interesting conversations, some live Q&A, some exclusive content, and all that kind of stuff. And it serves as a platform for you to support me as a creator and the maintenance and growth of this channel. So if you were a subscriber, if you are currently a subscriber, mwah, thank you so much. So where do I begin? It was 2021, COVID pandemic. It was like shut down everywhere. We were deep in the pandemic. At that time, I had moved to the mountains, to the auberge where we work and live and so on, in the middle of nowhere. Even though it was still COVID, we were in the middle of nowhere, so it was kind of like normal life was going on for us because we were in the mountains and so on. We were so far away from civilization. So that was kind of nice. But it was it was his first birthday celebration together, and I wanted to do something really special for him. So I wanted to get him his first threesome. And how was I going to do that during COVID? No one was dating, we couldn't go out, things were on lockdown and so on. I said, you know what? I'm gonna see if I can find someone to hire and have a sexy escort for the evening to provide this fantasy experience for us and for him, because I mean, that was something on his bucket list that he had wrote many years ago. Well, actually, what he had wrote on his bucket list was unpaid threesome. He wanted to have an unpaid threesome, but unfortunately, circumstances didn't allow for that, so this was definitely going to be paid. Being a virgin in hiring an escort, paying for sex kind of thing, I had no idea where to go, what to do. Some friends had recommended some sites that I could go on, which were kind of like Craigslisty a little bit. And you know, we're a little bit hard to navigate. It just didn't seem very legit. It was hard to sort through. It was weird communicating with people. It just wasn't my thing. So I found an agency. It was a very nice website. It was very pretty and seemed pretty legit. That was located in Quebec. So Quebec City is the closest city to us. It's about 2 hours away from us. So originally I wanted to hire someone to come to the auberge, but then with traveling fees and stuff like that, it was going to cost so much money. So the guy that I spoke to on the phone was like, why don't you just come to Quebec? You can get a hotel room for the night. It'll be way cheaper. And that way it'll be like a little getaway for you and so on. And I said, okay, you know what? That doesn't sound like a bad idea. Not all the girls offer this kind of service. So he gave me a list of 2 or 3 girls that offered services to couples. So he sent me their profiles. I went through them and I asked him if it was possible if I could meet the girl beforehand, because I wanted to make sure there was a little spark chemistry between us. You know, it was my first time going into the situation as well. You know, I had a threesome before, but I was the single person coming into the threesome. This time I'm in the couple. It was also my first time hiring somebody. I just wanted to make sure there was a vibe between me and the girl. I didn't want to be put in a situation where like things were going to be weird. I wasn't sure how he was going to react, like all that kind of stuff. And usually they don't do that kind of thing, but he said that I could have 15 minutes of like meeting time with her before, you know, the meet with Gab and so on. I said, okay, that should work. And how it worked in terms of pricing, because honestly, I had never done this before. There was a base price, which included time and sex, I guess, from what I can remember. And then you had to negotiate with the girl on site, like all the extra stuff. Like if you wanted kissing, if you wanted her to go down on you, if you wanted her to go down on him, like everything had like a little price tag. So again, going into this blindly, I was like, okay, sure, whatever. So I booked the girl and we exchanged text messages, text numbers, because that's usually how these things go down. It's always through text message and so on. I booked a hotel room and I didn't tell Gab anything up until like the moment that it happened. I just told him that we were going on an adventure and to pack your bags and, you know, we're gonna head to Quebec for the night. We got a hotel room and we're just gonna leave work for a little while and have like a little escapade. So we drove to Quebec. I remember in the car, because everything was timed very particularly, right? So she was coming, let's say at 7 o'clock was the meeting, but she was gonna show up at 6:45 for a meet. So I had to meet with her alone first to make sure there was like a little vibe between us. I had to like send Gab away for those 15 minutes. I was like trying to plan what I was gonna do in my head. And I remember being in the car and I told him, okay, like once we get to Quebec, you have to go to the ATM and you have to take out like X amount of dollars. And it was expensive, guys. I mean, I don't like to negotiate these things that much because they're providing a great service and they are worth what they're worth. I told him to take out X amount of dollars. And I also told him that he had to stop at the SAQ and pick up, the SAQ, by the way, is where we buy alcohol in Quebec, and buy some champagne. So by that time, I think he had an idea of what was going on, but I wasn't too sure yet because he didn't voice it out to me. We got to Quebec, we got to the hotel, we chilled a little bit, and then I told him, like I sent him out at whatever time to go buy the alcohol and to go to the ATM to take out money. And I was like, you cannot come back before 7 o'clock. You have to stay out. He didn't ask too many questions, so I still wasn't sure if he knew, but I was like, maybe he knows kind of thing. I don't know. So I basically kicked him out and I was anxiously waiting. You know, I got all dressed up and stuff like that. Then I get a text from her and her name was, I can't remember her name. Actually, I won't even say her name online. She said she arrived. She wasn't sure if she was in the right place because we had booked like this loft. Anyway, so I opened the door and I see this girl standing in the hallway. She's wearing flip-flops and these little jean shorts and a little like short crop top. She was super cute. She literally just looked like she rolled out of bed. I mean, she woke up like this, like Beyonce says, you know, she's very pretty and very sweet. I said, oh, hi, like we're over here. So she came and we gave each other a big hug and she was super bubbly and nice. And she came in and we were chatting and, you know, I was telling her it's his birthday and it's his first time. He's never had a threesome before. So I really wanted to offer this to him. We worked out the details. So, you know, she asked me questions like, is there anything that you don't want me to do? You know, is there anything off limits? And I said, no, everything's fine. Everything's a go. And like, this is part of the thing that I don't really like when you have to talk about the add-ons, like what you're going to do and what you're not going to do when you hire someone for sex, or it's nice to just have like a full package. If there's something that, you know, that they don't feel comfortable doing, they can say it. And obviously you respect that. But then when I was asking her like, well, how much is it like if you want to kiss on the mouth? And she's like, oh, that's an extra $40. If you want me to go down on him, then it's an extra $60 or whatever. And I was like, okay. And I was like calculating how much each thing was because I wanted like the full package. So I just said yes to everything. And so how it worked for her was that she wrote it in a text and then she sent it to her boss, I guess. And then he okayed it and she also let him know like, I'm here, I'm safe, like everything is fine. Then it was like, okay, good. Then like we could relax. We had a bottle of champagne already at the house. So I poured her a glass and then we went to go sit on the couch and we were just chatting and I told her about my experience. And again, she was super nice, very professional. She was like touching my leg and just being very nice and flirty. And I didn't really know too much to do. It was my first time doing this. And you just meet this person, you know, and you have an hour and you're like, okay, like how does this start? Who begins against wood? How do you initiate the process? Then like a few minutes after, I think I had just said like, oh, like, can I kiss you? And she was like, yeah, of course. And she like put down her glass. I wanted us to already start making out when Gab walked in. I thought it would be kind of hot. So we started just kissing on the couch. And then all I hear is the door open and I hear, honey, I'm home. He walks in and we're both just making out on the couch. And then, you know, shit goes down. He comes, we fool around, we this, that, we have sex and everything. But you know what? I think I'm gonna save all those details for Patreon. If you wanna hear the full story with all the details, you can by clicking the link below the description. Again, this serves as a great way to support the maintenance and growth of this channel. And also I like to save some of the intimate details for the Intimate Hub online. So you could check it out there. That's pretty much it. We had sex, it was a great time. And that was Gab's first threesome. It was a great birthday present. I think he would agree. And it was really exciting for both of us. We talked about it a lot after, we fantasized about it a lot after. It fueled a lot of the sex that we had, just remembering little snippets of what happened. And it was just a really great first experience. Even though it was a paid experience, again, it was COVID, so it was a bit hard to manage those things during that time, but it was very positive for both of us and I wouldn't have changed a thing. And I think he had a great time. I think he did. I mean, I'm pretty sure he did. It was a fantasy of his for a long, long time. Even though that was paid and he wanted an unpaid threesome, we definitely got a lot of unpaid threesomes after that, but it definitely set the bar pretty high. That was Gab's first threesome experience. Anyways, I'm sure he has a very different version of the story than I do. Gab usually is such a great storyteller, so I'm actually really curious about what he has to say about it also. So I'm gonna go check out that video as well. But I'll post both of those on my Patreon, and that's it. Anyways, if you guys have any questions or comments, please drop them in the comment section below. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for supporting. Je vous aime.